Hi, I'm Al Forster with AVF Consulting LLC. My website is avfconsults.com. About 2 months ago, I became enamored with free energy and perpetual motion devices. And so I started watching YouTube videos that basically seemed to have two concepts involved. One was to scam you into thinking that magnets that with their south poles facing one another can run indefinitely, and those scam debunkers that are always negative, saying that free energy is impossible and perpetual motion is impossible. I agree, because I'm a chemical engineer and I understand the theories of thermodynamics. I understand why you can't get over unity with energy production, but it was just a real turnoff that there was so much negativity. It almost took anybody that might want to be interested in technology and getting into a technical field and turned them off to the subject. So what I'm doing here is showing you some of the things that I analyzed that never worked, and a series of things that I believe are true perpetual motion machines. One of them is the clock that you see here on a AAA battery. It runs for 2 years. Or a watch. This watch ran for 6 years on a 2032 button battery. The one next to it is called a Misfit, which I wear all the time. It counts the number of steps I have in a day and how well I sleep at night. You only change the battery once every 6 months. So these are just a few of the things that, if you would accept my understanding of practical free energy and practical perpetual motion, I'd like to get conversations started where you give me a thumbs up on my website or on my YouTube channel, or you leave some comments to tell me that maybe you got a student interested in something that I'm showing here. Anyway, some of the devices that I've built include a solar-powered perpetual motion device. Basically, it uses a walkway, 5-lumen walkway solar-powered light, and one of these motion toys that run just off a light source, sun or light from inside the house. And so all of these things, including the clock, including the watch, including the Misfit, all are what I consider practical free energy and practical perpetual motion devices. We can also look at some of the things in the background that never worked. Spinners with magnets attached to them. No, that doesn't work. So I tried several of these, thinking that I wasn't being scammed at first, but then believing that the only reason these YouTube folks are putting these up are that the more people that watch them, if they get up to thousands or tens of thousands of views, then they'll stick a commercial in the middle of it from some vendor of some type of product, and they'll get paid for that, just like a commercial in the middle of their video. I'll never do that. I would prefer not to. So why do this project? Well, as a conversation starter, it takes less than an hour to do. It's available at most dollar stores or hardware stores. They'll run for months, years, day and night, 24 hours around the clock. And the science principles may get your kid interested in science and technology. I leave the video up here simply to show you that these devices are running continuously, whether we have enough light inside a house or outside to run. The batteries that you see here are corrosion batteries. If you look up 20 multi borax crystal power cells, you can get more information on that. The materials that I used for this particular device right here are a 5-lumen walkway light, round top, not square top, and one of those motion toys, and a 2-liter bottle that I will place, that I basically put the solar cell in the top of, and then put the toy underneath on a CD case. So basically, what do you need to use this? Well, there's a soldering iron that I show here. This is a soldering iron and some solder and wire, and small screwdrivers, some pliers, tape, and thumbtacks. The thumbtacks were actually used to prevent this solar cell from loosening from the tape and then falling on top of the toy. So basically, how do you do it? Well, you take off the top of the walkway light. You remove a few screws. You find the place where the circuit board is connected to the light that will come on at dusk, and and you solder 2 wires there, about 16 inches long. You run them down along the side of the 2-liter bottle to the bottom, and then you open up the toy, find out where its solar cell will be connected. Its solar cell is connected to its circuit board, and you again solder the other end of the wires to that. You do have to determine which is positive and which is negative, which you can do if you have a volt-ohm meter, which I show in the lower right corner of the video screen, and you just make sure that the positive wire from the solar cell goes to the positive side of the lead coming from the solar cell on the toy, and the negative wire goes to the negative lead on the solar cell of the toy. Once you're done, you would basically tape the device to the top, the solar cell to the top. And this has a nickel cadmium battery that lasts 2 or more years. And basically what this does then is, in the daytime, the solar cell on the toy is running it and the nickel cadmium battery is being charged, and at night, when the light comes on, that charge is continually running the toy even at night. So this will run, as I say, I've run it right now for a couple of weeks, but from everything I see, it should last for a number of years. So I would call that a perpetual motion device, a practical perpetual motion device. My definition of practical perpetual motion, by the way, is that the device runs without you interacting with it in any way, no charging of a battery or anything, yourself, for at least 3 months, and preferably 6 months to over a year, and that all the materials needed, if you amortize them on a yearly basis, will cost no more than 1 cent per viewing. In the case of this toy, it's about a 0.15 cents per view if I assume I look at it, or I use it like a fish tank when I'm trying to think and want to just calm down. But if you use it 10 times a day, that's 365 days a year, that's 3,650 views. And the price of all of the materials needed to do this was about $10. So, or 1,000 pennies. So 3,650 uses for 1,000 pennies comes to about 0.1516 cents per viewing or per use. Okay, so basically, if you want to read on, you'll see what I did to make all these connections work, and basically, since the toy that I chose had some leaves on it that ran very close to the edges of the 2-liter bottle, I had to clip off the edges so they wouldn't touch and stop the toy from moving. Having it in a bottle, though, you can run this inside your house, outside, and you can also prove that it's not a fan or something external to the video that I'm showing that's actually running this device. It's either the solar cell at night or the solar cell, the nickel cadmium battery at night, or the solar cell. So that's all, and hope to come to my website. Have a great day.
So at this point, I've turned off the more intense light so that you can see the small LED lights that are being driven by the various crystal cell batteries that I have been working on. The batteries range from basically a prototyping type battery, which is shown right up against the wall, to one that's a little bit smaller but is about the size of a D battery. Then I made them even smaller, going down to the size of a AA battery, and then down to really small sizes that are about half the size of a AAA battery. You can see those on the little white piece of paper at the bottom edge of the sheet. So I've prepared this so that you can see that as far as I'm concerned, there is 2 ways to have free energy. One is solar, and the other is a crystal cell battery that may last, some say, for 10 years. I would say if they last longer than 6 months, that would be great. So have a good day. Bye.